K-Point 105.9.
Is that Dave?
It is.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Yvonne Elliman, and I left a message on your line.
You're Yvonne Elliman?
Yes, because I heard the nice plug you gave, 461 Ocean Boulevard, and I just got one from L.A. They sent me one, and I'm on 17 of the tracks, and so, I mean, I can say a lot about that album. I didn't know if you wanted to have me in your office one day, you know, we could do some live stuff over the air.
And you're just listening to my show?
Yeah, I'm at my friend's house, and she put the radio on, and I thought, and I was taking a nap, and I was just dozing, and I thought, that's my voice.
The Yvonne Elliman.
What?
Just randomly calling my show, that's all. A little unusual. Do you regularly listen, Yvonne?
Pardon me?
Do you regularly listen?
Of course.
To me?
Yeah.
And it sounds good?
It sounds excellent. And, you know.
And that's right, you do live around here.
I did. I moved back here in 2001.
Yeah, I've seen you since then.
Have you?
Yeah, somewhere. I don't remember where. Like in concert, you did something.
Did you see the concert hall?
Oh,
the symphony?
God,
That
man.
was October 1st.
I don't remember exactly when it was, Yvonne. Sometime
You
when we're
remember
talking,
it.
I'll come up with it.
You know, you probably saw one of those rock and roll shows.
Yeah, it was something like that.
No. You should have seen the concert hall.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I left my cell phone number
On where?
on your message machine.
Wow. And you listen to my show.
I love rock. You know, I have kids, and they go back to the old stuff because their stuff just isn't as good.
Yeah. No, you can't argue with the classic rock.
No, you can't.
What an honor to have you enjoying my show.
No, it's, well, you play good stuff.
And how long have you been listening to my show?
I don't even know how old you are or how long you've been on K-Poi, but...
Did you listen to K-Poi before when it was...
When I was a kid. I mean, I remember Steve Nicolay and...
Did you listen to the Big Kahuna, though?
Yes,
You did?
I did, yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well
done. How old are you anyway?
Oh, I'm just a little puppy, Yvonne.
Are you really?
I'm so damn young, your kids are probably older than me.
But you love classic rock.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I do love it. Having Eric Clapton's musicians listening to my show, what a thrill. Well, I'll definitely get in touch with you, and
Okay.
and certainly...
Because I remember some of those shows, not every one, because we were always getting so loaded, but, I remember some of the bigger shows, but the Odeon was important. That was an important show. I remember him getting all dressed up and being very careful, and he watched his P's and Q's that night.
When's a good time to call you?
I'll be leaving here pretty soon, so probably, well, if you want to call me later tonight, that's okay, or tomorrow would be good.
And what do you do during the day? Just sit around and count your checks? Just messing with you. So is it easy to get you during the day if I get all tied up tonight?
Yeah, tomorrow would be good, like noon,
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, do you sleep till noon? You still a rock star?
Well, if I slept at all.
I love that, Yvonne. Nice.
But
I'll reach out to you.
you have a nice voice on the radio. Very nice.
Well,
well done.
you're making me blush.
I hope to see you soon.
I look forward to it.
Okay, Dave.
Aloha.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cape what? John Fogerty, center field, K-Poi 105.9, the Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock. And I know we are a moment late for our usual thing that we do at this time of day, but it's for good reason, too. So if you were listening to the Workforce Afternoon this past Tuesday, I guess it was, we were enjoying our second day of 420s from Eric Clapton's 461 Ocean Boulevard, the deluxe edition 2-CD set that just came out. And just a little while later, after we enjoyed our Tuesday 420, the phone rang, and this is basically what happened. K-Poi 105.9.
Is that Dave?
It is.
Hi. This is Yvonne Elliman, and I left a message on your line.
You're Yvonne Elliman?
Yes, because I heard the nice plug you gave, 461 Ocean Boulevard, and I just got one from L.A. They sent me one, and I'm on 17 of the tracks, and so, I mean, I can say a lot about that album. I didn't know if you wanted to have me in your office one day, we could do some live stuff over the air.
And you're just listening to my show? Yeah,
I'm at my friend's house, and she put the radio on, and I thought, and I was taking a nap, and I was just dozing, and I thought, that's my voice.
The Yvonne Elliman.
What?
Just randomly calling my show, that's all. A little unusual. Do you regularly listen, Yvonne?
Of course.
To me?
Yeah.
And it sounds good?
It sounds excellent.
And that's right, you do live around here.
I did. I moved back here in 2001.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I left my cell phone number.
On where?
On your message machine.
Wow. And you listen to my show?
I love rock. I have kids, and they go back to the old stuff because their stuff just isn't as good.
Yeah. No, you can't argue with the classic rock.
No, you can't.
What an honor to have you enjoying my show.
No, it's, well, you play good stuff.
And how long have you been listening to my show?
I don't even know how old you are or how long you've been on K-Poi, but...
Did you listen to K-Poi before when it was...
When I was a kid. I mean, I remember Steve Nicolay and...
Did you listen to the Big Kahuna, though?
Yes,
you did?
I did, yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, having Eric Clapton's musicians listening to my show, what a thrill. When's a good time to call you?
I'll be leaving here pretty soon, so probably... Well, if you want to call me later tonight, that's okay, or... Tomorrow would be good.
And what do you do during the day? Just sit around and count your checks? Just messing with you. So is it easy to get you during the day if I get all tied up tonight?
Yeah, tomorrow would be good, like noon,
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, do you sleep till noon? You still a rock star?
Well, if I slept at all.
I love that, Yvonne. Nice.
But,
I'll reach out to you.
You have a nice voice on the radio. Very nice.
Ah, well.
Yeah, well done.
You're making me blush.
I hope to see you soon.
I look forward to it.
Okay, Dave.
Aloha.
Bye-bye.
And that's how it happened on Tuesday afternoon here. And I am delighted because for our listening and learning pleasure, I can welcome my very special in-studio guest, local celebrity, star of screen and stage, and one of Eric Clapton's musicians in the studio and in concert, the lovely and talented Yvonne Elliman. Thank you.
Man. Hey, look at your studio. It's huge.
Welcome to it.
Yeah, leather couches everywhere and all these hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, it's
Thank
huge.
You so much.
It's an out-of-control setup, and I imported all that just to have your visit be that
totally
much more
flattered.
special.
Do you have any water, though? I'm just parched.
Yeah, I will get you some water, actually. And you know what I wanted to do? When we can take a look at some of the material, because I have lots and lots of Eric Clapton laying around for you to enjoy. I wanted to get on today's 420 song, Yvonne. Every day, you know, that we've been have you enjoyed this week on the air?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I wanted to get on today. I was going to play from 461 Ocean Boulevard, the deluxe edition 2-CD set. And Yvonne is featured on disc 1 prominently in the studio. And then on disc 2 in concert with Eric, Hammersmith Odeon from London, December 1974. Every day I've played a different previously unreleased cut that never came out until now. And I thought we'd end on today since it's Friday, and then we'll come back and talk some more. And we'll hear the live version of Let It Grow that's on here. How's that sound?
I love that song.
And then we'll get you some water, and we'll kick back and we'll talk and stuff. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Awesome. So it's our belated. You're welcome. It's our belated Friday 420, a never before released until this project version of Let It Grow, and this was recorded in December 1974, Hammersmith Odeon in London. Happy 420 to you and yours on K-Poi 105.9. Good stuff. K-Poi 105.9, the Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock workforce afternoon. Our 420 song for today on this Friday, and Let It Grow from the new 461 Ocean Boulevard Deluxe Edition 2-CD set. And I am delighted to have in the studio one of the background singers on both of those discs and other Clapton releases, the lovely and talented Yvonne Elliman. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us here. I got to, hey, Yvonne, guess what I got to do? I got to play a traffic report here real quick. Let's take a listen and see what's going on. And we'll go to Dave.
Traffic news you can use.
A traffic report brought to us by Mercedes-Benz of Honolulu.
Good afternoon. No accidents or stalls in the way. We're still running the Honolulu Traffic Management Center. I'm Dave Isak on the Workforce Afternoon with Dave Lawrence.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, David. And thanks to Mercedes-Benz of Honolulu for being part of the Workforce Afternoon. They have the highest customer loyalty rating in the Western United States. Stop by, make yourself comfortable, because chances are at Mercedes-Benz of Honolulu, you'll want to stay. 592-5600. And how's the traffic sound, Yvonne? Sound okay? Dealable? You're glad you're here and not out in it, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to that, Let It Grow, and I was sent the album from Los Angeles, Universal, and I opened it up and I put it in the player, and as soon as it came on, one of those children came on, I could smell the studio. It was like I got a whiff. I was right there. It was like an alcoholic skunk, that kind of smell. It was like I was right there, and I could feel the vibe. It was such a strong vibe back then, because I didn't know I was going to meet this guy. I just happened to meet him because of the same company. We're in the same company, and the fact that he asked me to sing on this album was a dream come true. I mean, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that. And then to be asked to be in the band. I mean, can you imagine?
The guy whose name in England was spray painted on walls, Eric Clapton, is God. And I can't imagine having him asked to have me in his band.
It was just unreal. And I would be on stage and I'd see all the lighters, go on, and you could feel the love and the adulation from the audience. And he brought so many incredible people around.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember meeting this person who was supposed to come to the door in New Orleans, and he said to Patty, he said, "Do you think Toge can handle it?" And she said, oh yes, I think she can. And I said, what, and they said, don't worry, just be cool, okay? And I said, oh, okay. And so I just didn't know who to expect, and somebody knocked at the door, and they opened it. It was Bob Dylan,
Oh, man.
And so I was to serve him coffee in these little cups, and, my hands were shaking, and it was like, and because he is a presence. I mean, it's just, he walks in, and it's just this presence.
Was that regular duty for you, like serving coffee when Eric would have guests? Or?
Well, I guess he figured, the half Oriental side of me wanted to serve, the geisha thing. But no, I served coffee to him, and I mean, I met just unreal people.
Yeah, no, I know. You've got a laundry list of them. Hey, let me play a couple words. We'll come back, and
Sure,
we'll talk a whole bunch here on K-Boy 105.9, The Big Kahuna. Don't go anywhere.
And highway at the airport, be there.
K-Boy 105.9, The Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock. 441, Dave Lawrence, my very special in-studio guest, Yvonne Elliman, hanging out with me here. And young Yvonne lives in the area, as you know, as a local celebrity. And Yvonne, before you, because we're going to get into your considerable rock and roll resume in a moment here. But I was doing a little homework on you and learning about you over the last couple days. And I saw a thing that said that you were on Hawaii Five-0. Were you really on early Hawaii Five-0?
Yes, I was opposite James Darren. I was his love interest, or he was my love interest. Yeah.
On how many?
Well, it was a two-parter. So,
wow. So you were on two of them.
Yeah, Jack Lord and his perfect hair.
What's Jack Lord like?
Very
what was he like?
Stoic.
He was.
Pretty much, but he was friendly enough, but he didn't grin too much. It was just enough to let you know he was friendly, and then he'd be on. He's a real worker. He was a worker.
Real hard worker.
Indeed, and they shot that show very quick. I made one mistake in the beginning because I didn't really know. I thought you could, lots of time, like in movies, so I drove up in the car, and I drove real slow, and I didn't hit the curb with the tires, and they all shaking their heads, and I got out of the car, and they said, no, you got to drive up like you're pissed off, drive up like, and screech. And I went, oh, and I had no idea, so I did it again, and I did it that way, but they don't give you any direction.
That was 1968.
No.
Yeah, so unless the paperwork is wrong.
I graduated 69.
Oh, then the paperwork has to be wrong.
It was 78.
Really?
Yeah.
They were filming that in that year?
Yeah.
Wow. So that was, okay, that's totally different information than...
Indeed.
Wow, and you just did 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was a two-parter called Number One with a Bullet.
That's what it's called, Number One with a Bullet.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
happening.
happening.
I was Yvonne Kanekoa.
And you went, God, that's so nice. Yvonne Kanekoa. Say that one more time. What was it?
Yvonne Kanekoa.
It sounds so much better when you say it. You moved to London in '69 to pursue a musical career?
Yes. I that's where I wanted to go. That's where all the music was that I loved.
What a time to get there.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, I sat in Piccadilly Circus on a bearskin rug, and I played, for the people because I had nowhere to play.
You were very folky.
Well, I just jammed, and somebody said, hey, where's your hat? Because the shillings were coming on the ground, where's your hat? So they put a hat out, and then the shillings would, and then
nice.
You'd have enough to buy your little thing for the night,
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
And it was just a terrific time. And I met a woman. She saw me in Iso's, this Jewish restaurant, and she called me. She had me summoned, and she said, you're very interesting. What do you do? And I said, I sing. She said, oh, you must sing for me. So she took me home. I sang for her. And then she had this party with Peter Sellers and Marlon Brando, and she introduced me to Jim Morrison.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, we sat in the hotel, the Inn on the Park, and I watched him smoke this stuff in a cup with a tin foil on top. And he read his poetry. I don't know what he was doing, but he read his poetry to me and her, and he started chasing her around the hotel because he liked her. And I thought, wow, this is fun.
How well did you get to know Jim?
I just saw him that night, and
just
shortly, it wasn't too long after that he was found in the Paris bathtub.
Oh, man, that is heavy duty.
Yeah.
And you were Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice credited as discovering you.
Yes, I was singing in a club. Actually, I was just going in between the main acts. And that night, the main act didn't come, and he was supposed to be trying out. Well, not trying out. They were going to come see him for the part of, pilot. And he didn't show up. So they said to me, the owner said, Yvonne, go on. So I went on. I did every song I knew, including, Where Have All the Flowers Gone?
Nice.
I mean, a wide array of things, for what it's worth, And they decided to stay and have a cocktail. This was Andrew Lloyd Webber. And so he saw me sing, and he called up Tim right away, and he said, I think I found our Mary Magdalene. And so he came up to me, and he said, you're our Mary Magdalene. And, he was funny-looking thing, and he was very, very, sort of Queen's English like that. And I said, oh, good, who's that, And so he said, well, I've got this opera I've written, you see, and very fast like that. And he said, you've got to come to my flat. And so I did, and I heard this song on piano, and I said, whoa, that's a beautiful song, but that's not Mary singing to her son. He said, no, don't you know, Mary Magdalene's a prostitute, my God. So
I love the way you do his voice.
Oh, yeah, well, I lived there for quite a while, and with Eric's, influence, and then
Sure.
I was married to an Englishman, and, I had a lot of it. It was like, I guess England was like my second home.
And you got to interact with Deep Purple's Ian Gillan.
Ian Gillan, yeah, he was pretty shy. He didn't say too much.
That's what you said the other day.
Yeah.
What's your best Ian Gillan story?
I don't have any Ian stories. 'Cause
Nothing?
He didn't do anything that was demonstrative in any way.
Nothing scandalous we can go over all these years
not
later?
at all. He was very stum.
Very stum.
Yeah, but we went to the October Festival, and we did the Gemini Suite, which was John Lord's piece.
Yeah, yeah.
And Glenn Hughes was part of the troupe then. He was bass player and very nervous. He was very nervous about doing this because it was classical, and his whole thing was very rock.
I'm sure a lot of listeners do not associate Yvonne Elliman with Glenn Hughes, who went on to be in Deep Purple and Black Sabbath.
Okay,
and
yeah. The next time I saw him at a party at Mick Jagger's in New York, he didn't even recognize me. He was so he was so into his whatever,
into
his
his
hair.
thing at the moment. Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah.
his new hobby.
But yeah, he was fun for a while.
Man, hanging out with like Bob Dylan, Jim Morrison, Mick Jagger. It's already a cavalcade of names you've been dropping here on the
Tremendous,
show.
but you know what? They're just people.
Yeah, I know
They
that.
really are.
But
they
they're-
really are. They have all kinds of insecurities, and you see them, come out. And I guess I had them too. And here I was trying to be some, big person in big shoes, and I was really quite small still. I had not had much time paying any dues. I hadn't paid no dues. I never had a job. I went straight from high school into a club, and then I got discovered. And I was on Broadway at 19. and
Which high school here did you?
Roosevelt.
Nice.
A Rough Rider. Yeah.
Got to throw that out there. Now I have this, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong here. Did you get to interact with Pete Townshend before you ended up interacting with Eric Clapton?
Yeah.
That's my understanding. Is he helped you with your second
Yes,
record?
my second record, yeah. I loved the song, I Can't Explain, always did. And so the producer said, well, why don't we give Pete a call? And the others, it's a blind, blind chance that he'll come. Oh, we'll try it anyway. And so they did, and he said yes. And so we were so excited, and he came to the studio. He was carrying a bottle of brandy and his guitar, and he didn't say anything to anybody. He just kind of walked in, sat down, said, right, play it, So they played the track, and he triple-tracked his guitar and drank solidly throughout. And on the third try, on the triple take, he blew out the electrical system. Suddenly everything went, "Phew."
In the studio.
Yeah, it was Air Studios. And we were on, I don't know how many stories up, but the whole thing went out. We had to go downstairs to the pub till they got the generator
Had to
working.
go down to the pub. It's a likely story. So the Who's Pete Townshend helped you do your second record. I mean, this is
I know. That was amazing. And he made that record. But I saw him on the road later because The Who opened for Eric. Isn't that amazing? Who opened for The Who, the
Sick.
Eagles? I mean, it was nuts. Anyway, so he said to me, I was watching all the luggage being taken out into the buses or whatever we were riding. And I was sitting there, and I had a bottle of whiskey next to me, and it was morning time. But, it was one of those things where you didn't sleep all night. And so
Sure.
you're sitting there. And, I'm with the bottle of whiskey. And I guess he must have flashed on Janice or something. And so he came over to me, and he said he was in his Mahavishnu state, always wearing white. And,
Oh, wow.
And he said, kind of holier than thou thing. And he said, darling, he said, you're a very pretty lady, you shouldn't do that. You kill yourself. And I said, oh, really? Oh, okay. Because I was always a very obedient person. And I said, okay. And so for 2 weeks, I didn't have a drop of alcohol. And it was incredibly hard to sing on stage with all that was going on with the band. It was like, just Lush Lucy,
I bet.
And I was straight for 2 weeks, and I thought,
The only straight one in the band.
yes. And it wasn't that much fun.
And he said that, and this is Eric who said that?
No, it was Pete.
Pete was in a Mahavishnu phase, too, dressing like John McLaughlin.
And I listened to him because it sounded like an elder person being very wise, telling me something very sage,
In between hits of the brandy. He was telling you not to, that it was unbecoming of you drinking the whiskey.
Yeah.
Just had to clarify the sequence of how that went
my
down.
translator, thank you.
And that's outrageous, man.
But I remember, when the song Cocaine came out, and I would wear a gun belt around my hips because I would play the tambourine so loud, I mean, not loud, but hard on my thighs, that the little French seam up the side would be the only thing that was white on my legs after I take my jeans off. It'd be black and blue, with this white stripe going down either side. So somebody said, Eric said, here's a gun belt, and he took off the holster part, and I would tie it to my legs, and I would beat the tambourines on that. Well, there were all these bullet holes, that you could put things in. So I would roll up $20 bills, tape them, and I would put them in where the bullets would normally go. And as we were doing the song, I would take one out and I would throw it in the audience. When they finally realized what the heck I was doing,
You're throwing up rolled up $20 bills during cocaine.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, when they realized what I was doing, there was a mad rush.
I bet.
Oh, it was
Sure, they
fun.
were wondering what else you might be throwing out with those bills. Why don't we throw down cocaine now?
All right.
Here on the air and this is from Slow Hand and another one of the records you got to do with Eric.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more with Yvonne Elliman. After this, J.J. Cale's Cocaine, Honolulu's only classic rock. Enjoying some cocaine with Yvonne Elliman here on the Workforce Afternoon. K-Boy 105.9, the Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock. A song you were on right there.
Well, I didn't know singing in it. I just sort of, egged on the crowd.
Just hung out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have individual on that one, on that reissue. They've just reissued the Slow Hand record as well. It's been part of our 2 weeks of Slow Hand celebration.
They reissued Slow Hand?
Yeah, they did. And I actually, because we don't have our visual medium hooked up in the studio yet, you can't see the pile of gifts that I brought for Yvonne. But
wow.
I gave her
Thank you
some.
so much.
You're welcome so much. I gave her some the Layla. I gave her one of the best of Claptons that we were giving away, and the Slow Hand. And they don't. On the 461 Ocean Boulevard, track by track, they identify everyone's contribution to the songs. On the Slow Hand, they just give you guys sort of a laundry list of everyone involved, and
right.
and you're credited. And the way it reads, it's like you're on every single tune on the record.
Right. Well, I'm not on the core.
You're not on
and
the
a
core.
lot of people thought I was. They couldn't
That's
differentiate.
Marcy.
Boy, that's Marcy. Yeah.
On that.
Yeah. She was becoming more and more involved with the band at that time. But Wonderful Tonight, we sing together. Lay Down, Sally.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, the studio version of Wonderful Tonight is dig that. Maybe we'll get that one on there too, and we'll hear some more of the live music as well. In fact, one of the live ones that we could get on, and maybe we'll throw that down next after a few more words, is a cover song, and there's a few covers on this tremendous 461 Ocean Boulevard Disc 2, where you guys were live at the Hammersmith Odeon back in London, 1974. And we'll throw down a cover that does feature Yvonne, and we'll hear some of her recollections on what it was like and how Eric went about doing the set list and stuff. Is that cool, Yvonne?
Sure.
Awesome. We will continue with the one and only, the lovely and talented Yvonne Elliman, moments away on K-Boy 105.9.
Where can you find competitive?
And it is K-Boy 105.9, the Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock. I have a fresh traffic report arriving with young David now.
Traffic news you can use.
And this report brought to us by Mercedes-Benz of Honolulu.
Good afternoon. We have a stalled van management center. I'm Davey Saka on the Workforce Afternoon with Dave Lawrence.
And the traffic, thank you very much, David, was brought to us by whom?
Mercedes-Benz of Honolulu has the highest customer loyalty rating in the western United States. Stop by. Make yourself comfortable. Chances are you'll want to stay. 592-5600.
Thank you so much, Yvonne Elliman.
My pleasure.
Nice personalized thing. It is KPOI Honolulu to stay legal here. And Dave Lawrence doing the Workforce Afternoon. My very special in-studio guest is Yvonne Elliman. And Yvonne called in because earlier this week. She was, well, Yvonne mainly called in because she just loves the show, don't you, Yvonne?
That was it. But you gave me a reason to call, too.
I gave you a very good reason because you heard your own voice on the show. And she knew that I just started a week of doing nothing but 420s from this 461 Ocean Boulevard, the second CD in the deluxe edition. And one of the things that you and I talked about the other day, and we were both impressed about, was the fact that Universal has come up with this whole second disc of all this live music.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know some of these existed. I wasn't there the entire time. I mean, Eric would go on into the night, into the next day, into the night, and he would just keep playing.
Sure.
And I had to go sleep sometimes. So, some of these things I'd never heard ever. Some of those things I think I'm on. So, but he would just say, yeah, sing here. And I mean, there's no rehearsal. In the studio, Eric never overdubbed. He never did anything twice. It was like they would go for it, and whatever landed is what they kept.
So these shows, to the best of your recollection, were they part of a tour? Because they list you as being in the band, of course, on these.
Oh, you mean at the Hammersmith show?
Yeah,
that was at the European leg of that album, and we were having to promote the album.
And so you remember those?
Yeah, I remember the Odeon. That was a very special night. Eric he was very serious.
Yeah, you said he got really well dressed.
Very well dressed. I mean, impeccable.
What was he wearing?
He was wearing a white suit, and he was
another Mahavishnu sort of costume.
There was
Everybody was kind of doing that then.
He was still rugged around the face and everything, but he did manage to comb his hair, and he wasn't he wasn't out of it. He wasn't drinking. He was very, very in. It was at the Royal Albert Hall. It was the Odeon, right? Okay, I get it mixed up. At the Odeon, but he was careful because I guess he knew that the States tour, it was. It was bad. It was bad press a lot of the time because he was playing lying down on the floor. And
he was all whacked out.
Yeah, I mean, he was just getting into it again, and he didn't know how to control all these feelings he was feeling.
Sure.
He threw caution to the wind, and he was just having a good old time. But in fact, when we played over here, he got naked and strapped on a samurai belt and sword, and he was out scaling the outside of the buildings. I mean,
here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Eric Clapton,
yes.
Nude.
Yeah.
Except for a samurai. What was he wearing?
A little samurai sword, with the belt.
Unreal.
And so the security had to come and whisk him into his room.
These are Eric Clapton stories that you just wouldn't hear from anybody else.
But he was well behaved at the Odeon.
I bet he was. And some of the great things about this disc too on 461 Ocean Boulevard, which we gave away all week long here, are some of the covers and stuff that are on there. And some of Eric's biggest songs are covers, like Cocaine, and other songs that he's covered throughout his career. The one that you and I were going to take a listen to, which does feature you on it, is Little Wing from Jimi Hendrix. How did to the best of your recollection, how did Eric come up with the set list? Were they different from night to night? Or is it something where he would, James Brown style, just turn around and call out a tune?
He would do that when he was doing a blues, like medley, or when he would go into the blues, he would call out a key. And so these musicians, I mean, they were great, these Okies,
Sure.
They were fabulous. And he would just call out a key, and they'd go right into it. And pretty much the set list, one had to stick to a certain format.
Sure.
Just so you knew where you were at. But, occasionally he would throw something in. All of a sudden he threw in Smile,
Yeah.
And, I mean, the audience looked a little perplexed when he'd come out. That's how he opened. He's doing a Charlie Chaplin song,
and it's on here.
Yeah, it is. And he kind of fashioned it over the old Sam and Dave R&B style thing.
Oh, wow.
So it was really unusual. People didn't know what to make of it. But he was doing a lot of strange things. He was doing country. And, they wanted the old Eric. The purists did. But a lot of people who just loved Eric, period, were welcoming. They welcomed that stuff, too. And
when he did Little Wing, was that something that the audience wanted at that moment? They were receptive to that?
Well, that was from the Layla album, and, Eric, they knew of Eric's love for Jimmy.
Sure.
And it was by just pure respect that he did that song, and I thought he did it extremely well. He did. I love that song.
It is a delight to get to play it.
Yeah, it's hard to be Bobby Whitlock,
Absolutely.
He's got that high voice, but I tried my best.
Well, we'll listen to your efforts here, Yvonne, and then we'll judge him and have a little recon here. This is Little Wing and Eric's version of it that is found on 461 Ocean Boulevard, the second disc, and this was recorded at Hammersmith Odeon in London in December of 1974, and you're hearing it on K-Boy 105.9, The Big Kahuna.
Get a person.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, he's the bachelor's in economics or something, or you know.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does have a bachelor's in economics,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of his friends were like that, all one and the same, out of the same cloth.
You
know.
spent a lot of time with Mick?
A little bit, yeah. He was
You,
a few mixed stories, but that's another day.
but you did get to hang with Mick, huh?
Yeah. He was. He just used to barge into my sessions, and he used to say, "Oh, sing it like that," you know. Yeah, he even told me how to sing "If I Can't Have You."
Did he really?
Yeah, I didn't follow his suggestions. It was a little too out there for me, you know. It was.
From old Sir Mick.
Yeah, Sir Mick.
But
Sir,
you knew
is he a
him?
sir now? Is he?
Yeah, I think that's what they're calling him these days.
He was crazy.
How about Keith?
Well, Keith was. I was kind of scared of Keith.
I bet.
I was a little scared of him, but he's actually a very nice guy. I knew Ron Wood the best.
Wow. Yeah, my buddy actually knows Ron the
Oh,
best.
yeah?
Yeah, I got a friend in Boston who's pretty tight with Ron.
When we did No Reason to Cry, he was a constant figure. He was always there, showing everybody his little party nose, you know, his little tricks, you know.
His party nose. I'm sure there was a lot of that going on. back
And
then.
Bob Dylan was there, and the band was there, and so all these Robbie Robertson. I love his music.
And Bob Dylan, like you got to, really hang with Bob.
I did.
And talk
yes,
to him
he was
and stuff.
chasing. He was chasing someone through the house. I think she was a one-legged person, and he was into that. He was chasing her around this house, and she was hobbling, and she came into our room. Me and Marcy were sitting on the floor. We were jamming, and she ran through the room, hobbled through the room, and she jumped out this window. And Bob came in with a handkerchief tied at four corners on his head, kind of looking like one of those guys out of Monty Python, And he just ran in, and he heard us playing, and he sat down in front of us, just right cross-legged, and listened. And he listened, and so Marcy and I kept playing, and then he got up, he said, "That's very good. That's very good." And out he went again. And and then when he went into the studio later, they were doing a song called Sign Language, and he went up to Eric, and he said, as I walked in, he said, "She's good. And you know what? That will live with me forever." And Eric just went, "Oh yeah," and he, started talking.
That's classic.
Yeah, and those words, just the fact that I got that compliment from him, and he didn't have to say it. It was like
I'd say not. That's huge.
it was great.
Did you ever get to puff the Pocalolo with Bob Dylan?
What's that? Oh, I don't. I think probably that was that skunky thing that was going around.
With
yeah.
Bob though?
Oh yeah.
With Bob Dylan?
Well, yeah. I think we're all like, just passing it around and just having a good old sing song, and But I mean, it wasn't always wonderful things, because I remember when I was playing the song for Eric that I'd worked on all night, and he stopped me in the middle of it, and he said, "You play too effing loud." And he got up and walked away, and I was crushed. I didn't play the guitar for a while.
An original you had been working on. You're like, "Hey, Eric,
It's
check
a
this
song
out."
that he wanted to learn. He loved that song, and I worked all night on getting the chords and like getting it. I was just driven, and I said, "Here, I got it." And he sat down. He was with the rest of the band on this couch, and I was playing it, and I was obviously very enthused. And I always played loud because I had a folk band when I was singing over here, and I had to play loud so because all the voices would cover up my guitar. So that's the way. That was my style. And he said, "You play too effing loud." And left.
Man.
Oh man.
And you'll never forget that.
I never will. And I do try and control the volume when I play, but sometimes...
Ever since then?
You just can't help it. Yeah, ever since then.
Yeah. Well, he did have an impact, didn't he?
Oh, indeed.
And when was the last time you talked to Eric Clapton?
A long time ago, because, I remember I sent him a couple of, merry-go-round horses, carousel horses, for him and Patty. It was one of their wedding anniversaries.
Huh.
And he called me back, and we had a good old chat. Oh, I went and saw him in Seattle when he went to see, I went to see Diana Ross. And he liked Diana, and he wanted to hear how she was. And that was the last time I saw him.
Okay.
And I think that was 80 or 81.
There's a ways back there.
Yeah.
Man.
I've written him. I know he's gotten my letters, especially
Sure.
when his son died. I wrote him. Hard to find the words for that one,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He pretty much stays to himself. He drives himself to the gig now. He doesn't deal with all those limos and all that.
And he's got like a chick from Ohio who's like 20 something years
Little
old.
Hapa Holly girl, Irish Korean.
Okay.
Yeah, And I thought maybe I was the reason that he
that he got influenced in that direction.
No, but he settled down. He's got children now, and
Can you imagine you're in Cleveland or whatever, and you're just going to the gas station, and Eric Clapton pulls up with his chick right behind you at the gas station.
can you imagine?
No, I couldn't handle it. I just wonder how you would,
You know what? I found out that more guys than girls were
Worship him.
looking up at him with this idol worship thing on their face. I mean, the men just absolutely were fascinated and just intrigued by him.
He was the
They
over-the-top
loved him.
guitar player, man, and he just, I would have to agree with you. The guy, there was that point, there was nobody as big as, nobody ever got called God.
Yeah, he hated that. But,
Did he hate that?
Oh yeah. You don't want that.
I bet he hated that, but people spray painted it all over walls.
Yeah, and he drew more and more away from his public.
Because of stuff like, and all those guys, a lot of the bands, because of the worship and stuff of fans, it got a little heavy duty.
You can't handle it.
Yeah, but Eric really was the epicenter of it all. There's a lot of great guitarists who were heavily looked up
Right.
to,
But he's pretty humble. He never believed it,
I bet.
There was always somebody that played better than he wanted to play, wanted to imitate.
Yeah, and he's a testament to what you're saying. In fact, is his latest work is this. He's done 2 different tributes to Robert Johnson. And I
That's
think
the man.
and that shows. He's really not thinking about himself. He's about reinterpreting 30s blues songs by his
He's
hero.
still trying to.
Yeah.
He says he'll never master it. He'll never be as good as one of those black guys.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah.
It really shows. What you say about him and how he wouldn't really take it that seriously when people would call him all these amazing, complimentary things.
Yeah.
And then here he is. His very latest work is, in fact, not original stuff, but painstakingly going over some of the original blues songs,
Right.
and interpreting them in his
Right.
own way.
It's his favorite thing, though.
Yeah, well, I'd say so. 2
Yeah.
records in a row, back
Yeah.
to back, Robert Johnson.
Yeah, he lives for that.
Yeah, and I can't keep Yvonne here all day. Yvonne does have some stuff. Yvonne, you want to give a plug to something that's
Sure.
current, or what do you want to plug
yeah,
here?
No, I've got an EP coming out. An EP is a shortened CD. It's only 4 or 5 tracks, and
Extended play.
yeah, it's going to be in the stores in 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks' time. It's called Simple Needs.
I'm holding it, right?
Yeah, and it's all about it's little simple needs. We don't need that much really to
It's
exist.
a great picture of you on the back of that.
You like
too.
that one?
I think it's fantastic.
My boyfriend's he that's the one he liked too. He said,
Is
why
it?
isn't that on the front? Yeah.
That's why it got selected.
Yeah. Hi, Alan. Hi, Dar.
Hey, Alan, is
Hi,
he a
Mom and
fan
Dad.
too?
Well, he's the guy that got me singing again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because when I first got here, I was really gun shy about singing. I thought everybody was going to judge me, and I'd been a mother for 20 years and living in the woods and just doing like really normal and abnormal stuff too. Going pioneer woman style,
Raising puppies.
yeah, and pigs and everything else. And so when I got here, I wanted to sing, but I didn't know, nobody was bringing me out. And he helped to do that. He just
Oh, he's
told
got
me.
great photo selection skills as well, I might add.
And he's a great singer, and so we sing together, and he helped me to just sing more and not feel so uptight about it.
You want to give your website a plug too, real quick?
YvonneElliman.com. Yeah.
And folks can go there.
Thanks. I
you're
appreciate that.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for coming down and being on the show.
My pleasure. You can have me back again. I don't know if you're ever going to play one of my songs because, of course, I was always in that other. The other side of the desk as far as radio.
Sure.
But some of this stuff is rock and roll.
Well,
it might surprise you.
I'm going to hold on to it, and
Okay.
you keep me abreast of any additional plans in your life, and please do stay in contact. And
Thanks, Dave.
most importantly, Yvonne, please keep listening to the show here.
This is my fave, man.
And yeah, is it really your favorite
Yeah,
show?
absolutely. Always has been.
Okay.
Cape Boy, that's just part of my radio listening pleasure.
But
since
I'm
I
your
was-
favorite afternoon guy.
Oh yeah, look at you.
All
Your
right.
personality. You're as real as anything I've ever seen in radio. You're real. This is how you are. How you are on the radio to people is how you are, man.
That's very kind. Please call more often. I want to, and I can brag to people back home. I have Yvonne Elliman.
Do they
just
know what you look like?
calling in? Does who know what I look
The
like?
people out there?
Well, the people out there is a very large group. There's a group of the people out there that probably do.
Oh yeah. You've had your face plastered.
We go and do stuff, and we
Okay.
were on TV when the Who came to town. We were broadcasting live and stuff down there, but no, I enjoy a little bit of anonymity here.
Oh yeah, because the earrings and the long goatee thing. It's very nice,
I thought you would like that. Well, I got gussied up just for you, young Yvonne. Well, thanks again for being here. YvonneElliman.com is how to reach her online and take a look in the stores for Simple Needs soon. But I wanted to leave in a departure song, if you will. You and I were talking, and you say you dig the Wonderful Tonight that you got to do with Eric.
Yeah, that he wrote that very quickly. He wrote that when he was pissed off at Patty, and I know it didn't come out that way, but it turned out to be one of his biggest hits, and everybody's doing it too. And actually, he kind of mad at Lionel Richie because he thought Lionel Richie stole his riff.
Did he? Did he call him up?
No, he was just he was grumbling though.
Was he really?
Oh yeah. So I don't know where he got it from. Eric got it from somebody. He's always stealing from somebody.
Yeah, all those guys, all those old British guys. You got so many good stories. We'll have another session with your great stories another time, Yvonne.
Drive safely, everybody.
Cool. And thanks again, Yvonne. And here she is now with Eric Clapton on Wonderful Tonight on the Workforce Afternoon, K-Boy 105.9, The Big Kahuna.